lead role, a guy who's very much an average Aussie, and some very unaverage things happen to him. So
Listen,
I'll leave it at that.
all right, we wish you the best of luck, of course, in this upcoming film and your new television career. But more importantly today, the big one, Waltzing Matilda, and we'll be anxious to hear you sing. So best of luck and thanks for joining us today. Just quickly, Melbourne Cup tip?
Alpha.
Alpha. Good luck. Tim Webster's in the parade ring. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Sandra. Speaking of singing, I can't wait to hear this lady sing. She can't say it, but I can. One of the best jazz and blues singers in the country, Catherine Lambert. Hi.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Fantastic. Having a great time.
Don't you just love this flaming red hair? Look at this.
It's on fire.
You stand out. You stand out.
It's good because it's kind of cool over here.
Yeah, it is a little brisk. Now, you've written this song, the APRA song, the Performing Rights Association song, Thrill of the Race.
Yes, it was the Australian Songwriters Association's national competition to find a song to represent the Victorian Racing Commission.
What inspired you, the Netties themselves?
Oh, they're beautiful, magnificent creatures. I thought I can do that, so we'll give it a shot, and who figured?
Well, a departure, though, because I saw you on the B.B. King tour with Diane Reeves, and you were just stunning then with, what's the name of that band?
Spank Morris Super Band. Oh, my band, Spank You Very Much.
Spank You Very Much. What a great name for a band. And I saw you with them. So this song is a bit of a departure.
It is, but I write all kinds of music. It's not, depending on what's required. And I sing it in the style that's required. So the vocal on the song, it's a bit Melissa Etheridge, and I don't sing much like that, as you probably remember from the B.B. King tour.
Yeah.
A bit croony is my style normally.
Now, Catherine is also, well, you're not multicultural, but multinational, born in the UK.
Yes.
Early life in the US.
Yes.
And then decided you love it here.
Yes, my mother's from Adelaide originally, so I live in South Australia. 14 years in New Jersey, and then moved back to Adelaide back in 1977, so a bit of a mixture.
Well, we're as busy as 10 men here, but I'm sure we'll hear the song at some stage over the carnival, and thank you for joining us. Good to see you.
Thanks, Tim.
Catherine Lambert, Sandra, who can sing up a storm, I promise you.
She can. Thank you, Tim. Every cup, you know, is memorable, and I guess some stick in the mind a little more prominently than others. Well, here's a couple of unforgettable Melbourne Cups as we celebrate 20 years of Cup coverage.
Like the roar which reverberates around Flemington at the start of the Melbourne Cup. But starts are one thing. The action which gets shown over and over again is 3,200 metres later at the finish. When terrific race past stablemate superimposed to give Lee Friedman his first cup, he proved himself one of the stoutest finishers. We all knew vintage Crop could stay before he arrived in 1993. But no one realised just what a powerful finishing burst he had. The barnstorming finish is the thing which sets everyone's heart racing. And the hearts have never pounded harder than 1983, when a farm-trained New Zealander with a simple name of Kiwi produced a finish to take the breath away. That's him back there. And just watch him go. Kiwi won much more than the Cup that day. He won a place as one of the favourite heroes of the turf. And all because of his finish.
Kiwi's flying might beat them all. Kiwi's come from last in a phenomenal performance. Won the Cup by a length and a quarter.
Some wonderful images there, and it takes you back. I don't know about you, but I certainly look at those images and try to remember where I was the days I saw those fabulous races. It's fabulous stuff. Lynn Talbot is somewhere near the Champagne Bar.
Well, thanks, Sandra. I'm standing outside the Champagne Bar, which we do like, don't we? With Wendy Hughes, internationally acclaimed actor, who's playing the legal eagle Kate Ferrari in Channel 10's State Coroner. Now, second series, I believe, next year. Well done.
That's correct, yes. People seem to enjoy it, so we're doing it again. So, yeah, I'm thrilled.
And it's rating very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, to do your research as this legal eagle, what did you have to do?
Well, we had to watch a few autopsies and do the rounds of the Coroner's Court in Melbourne, meet all the state coroners of Victoria and find out where they're coming from. And here they're coming from the legal aspect more than the medical side of things, as in the States.
It all sounds a bit gruesome.
Yeah, but it's sort of necessary to be gruesome to help, you know, similar accidental deaths happening in the future. And I don't know, you just, I suppose, put a brave front on. But yeah, it can be slightly depressing.
And it's a role you enjoy, though.
I love it, yes, because she's, I don't know, very ambitious, very strong, and yeah, it is always a challenging episode. They're all totally different, so that's good.
Now I'm going to give you a challenge. What's a tip for the cup?
Bonsai Pipeline, because I like the name.
Oh, well, that's
What
a
are the
great
odds?
way to choose. Oh, it's not a good chance at this point in time.
It'll get better, though. It'll get better, don't you?
You never know you like it. Thanks, Sandra.
No, you don't ever know you like it, particularly on a day like today. It's time now to check out the details for race 6. He's Peter Donegan and a very excited Jenny Chapman.
Yes, a very excited Jenny Chapman, because she has standing beside her, and so do I, the world's premier jockey. And if you can possibly concentrate for a minute, Jen, we might have a chat to Frankie Dettori. Welcome back to Melbourne.
Fair income, how's that?
Fair dinkum. That's fair dinkum, very good. And you must love coming back here.
Love it, I love the whole thing. As soon as I landed yesterday, the place is on fire. Lots of atmosphere, lots of adrenaline. People really looking forward to come to the races and enjoy this beautiful day. And I'm very happy to be part of it.
How did the Melbourne Cup Carnival stack up against the great races of the world, like Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, the Ascot Carnival?
That's right, I mean, he's right up with them now. The Victoria Racing done a great job this last 5 years. Tried to get some horses to come and race here. He made an international race, and oh, we're watching.
We just saw you the day after you won on Lantara.
That's right, and that was the 7th. It was a good day.
Yes, it must have been a huge day. When you come back here to Melbourne, how did the boys treat you?
Good, fantastic. I think that's one thing I'm really looking forward to when I come back, is to come and see the boys in the jocks room. And I'll never forget the first time I came. I walked in the jocks room, everybody stopped and stared, and I said, oh shit, it's going to be a long weekend. And Brent came up to me and said, hey, I'm a Kiwi, you better come around the corner with me. Now, since then, everybody's been great.
Frankie, was it important that you had a couple of rides before the Melbourne Cup just to reacquaint yourself with Flemington?
Yes, it's very important, you know, just to get a feel of the ground. The ground, for English saying, it'd be good to firm, it'd be ideal for my horse. It'd be no excuses regarding the ground. The track itself is in perfect condition, and we're just looking for a nice race now.
Well, the best of luck to you, and we're looking forward to seeing that famous star jump if you do happen to win the Melbourne Cup on Arabian Story.
I'd be very happy to oblige you with that if I win, let me tell you.
Frankie Dettori, he'll be riding Arabian Story in the Foster's Melbourne Cup. Jen, calm down. We have to look through the horses in a moment.
Big hello to my husband too, who's watching in Hong Kong.
Thanks to Frankie Dettori. Now, on to race 6, the Schweppes 1000. And let's start off with the top one here, Grego, to be ridden by Dwayne Dunn.
I think this is a little harder for Grego, actually. He has had a spell a couple of starts ago, and I think on his last performance comes into this race with winning form, but whether or not with the 57.5 can possibly do it, I'm just not sure. Maybe an each-way chance.
The John Hawke stable had a good day here on Saturday, Jen. They've got another top chance here in number 2, Walnut, Darren Gaucher in the saddle.
Yes, Walnut's quite impressed me, actually, Peter. Box-seated in Moonee Valley back in May, and that was a good effort there. Managed to win, and then won at Ballarat as well. That was the first up run. Certainly fitter going into this, and a very good chance.
Danajaya hasn't started for a few weeks, but is in the powerful Lee Freedman stable and has the services of Damien Oliver. But what about the gate, number 12?
Well, that's going to be a little bit of a concern. I also wonder whether or not this horse has been gelded. In our race book, it says that he's still a colt. I'd just like to see some genuine improvement from him first.
Number 4, It's a Dane. Brett Preble, the rider for John Maher, has drawn up against the outside rail.
Yes, 3 wide at Moonee Valley a couple of starts ago, and I thought that run was quite okay, and then just not good enough at its last start at Caulfield. So freshened up here, is quite a promising colt. Could it possibly improve?
Stephen King takes the ride for Peter Hayes aboard 7, Gift Bouquet.
Yes, another horse coming into this race with fresh form. Well drawn in barrier 2 and should get the run of the race, some chance.
The lightly raced honourable mention, you've given it an honourable mention.
Yes, I think it's got a good chance, and Pete, at very big odds as well. I think it can come into this 3 starts, only the 3 starts, fresh here, and does have ability.
Number 11 is Steno, Craig Williams, and this one's only had the 2 starts.
Yes, another horse that is quite promising. I think it's probably a great value chance in the race. I put it in for my third selection, actually.
And Paul Perry, well, can he win his 4th race for the Carnival with number 14, Durham?
Anything he sends out, you do have to have some respect for. Lightly weighted with 51. That's a big weight drop for Durham. Resuming, I believe, suffered a bleeding attack at the start, so forget that altogether. It does have ability.
So number 8 each way at big odds for you?
Yes, 8 from 2 and 11.
And I thought number 5, Dual Strike, had a bit of an each way chance round about the $15 mark. Dan, it's a wide open affair though.
Certainly is. Grey Go at $9.70. Been very easy on track. $3.30 for Walnut. Danajaya $6, $7.60 for It's a Dane. Dual Strike $15, 26 Rouge Fur. Gift Bouquet at $14. Honourable Mention $29, 35 Chicago Clip, 17 Sir Talak, 21 for Stenner, 46 Melbourne Park, $14 for Durham, and then Petite Falou $37, Diamond King at $80, and Cell Regal is the bolter of the field. That's what's happening on the tote. For a look at the ring and the update there, Tim Gossage.
Thanks very much, Dan. Well, they've come now for Walnut. It drifted out in the market. It opened up good odds, then got out, and now it's come back in again. Walnut will start the pronounced favourite. And the other one that they want to be on is Durham. They think Paul Perry's in hot form. Well, they've kept it very safe in the market as well.
Tim Gossage in the betting ring. You're watching the Melbourne Cup Carnival. We'll be back with race 6 after the break. Just about set for race 6 here at Flemington as the band plays on. Roy Higgins has marked them 14, 2, 3 and 1. Dan Malicki and Gary Willits in the commentary box.
Just about ready here, Peter. They've all moved in very quickly.
Walnut, the heavily backed favourite in the All Cerise colours. All locked away. Swips 1000, race 6 in Melbourne Cup Day. Gates crashed back and they're off and racing now. Danajay jumped away pretty well. Cell Regal and Walnut began brilliantly the favourite. It's looking to lead in the early part. Melbourne Park and It's a Dane trying to keep up. Petite Falou's going to race quite handy. And also Cell Regal. Now they are splitting up and coming down the flat side of the track. Durham in front of Sir Talak. Dual Strike third. Danajaya went over with them. And also Stenner. Down the grandstand side we have Walnut in front of Petite Falou and Cell Regal. Close up was It's a Dane and then Rouge Fur. In behind them was Gift Bouquet. Then came Grey Go, Chicago Clip, Melbourne Park. A Diamond King and under the whip was Honourable Mention as they come inside the 300 now. And on the flat side it's Durham joined by Danajaya. Danajaya's hit the lead on the flat side from Sir Talak and Durham. Down the grandstand side it's Walnut 2 lengths in front of It's a Dane. It's Danajaya on the flat side in front. Walnut's coming at it. It's Danajaya the leader. Walnut trying to wear it down. Danajaya in front of Walnut. They hit it all. Danajaya or Walnut, they're wide apart. Danajaya's hard up on the inside and Walnut the widest out. Great go here. And likewise for third, there is Sir Talak, Dual Strike and Stenner most prominent. Also Honourable Mention, which made up a terrific amount of ground out wide. It's a Dane, Gift Bouquet, Rouge Fur, and then came Chicago Clip, Cell Regal, Diamond King, next time Grey Go from Petite Falou and Melbourne Park.
Gee, I can't split them down. I really, if I've got a lean...
Number 3, Danajaya's got it.
Yeah.
Danajaya's got it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he was in front, and you could see Walnut, you know, with a quick leg action, and there wasn't much in it.
No.
And third is another close go. It's 3-2, and it's either between Sir Talak on the inside or Honourable Mention, and number 10 gets third, Sir Talak. So 3, 2 and 10.
This is where your nightmare starts, Dan, when you see a race like this and you see Danajaya right on the inside there and Walnut on the outside. But you'll note what beats Walnut is when you're out there by yourself, he's left It's a Dane behind, and now he'll start drifting in a little bit, and that's just enough to get you beat on a real close finish. It'll be interesting if we see up above on the Whitman's Lightship later on, if we get a shot of this, and you'll honestly see the horse in the Cerise colours and Jack Ingham's colours. He'll shift in, and that's what costs him victory. Just
3, 2, 10. Danajaya, the winner. Lee Friedman. Lee has had good success in this race over the years. He won it with a horse called Poetic King a few years ago, Peter, and success for Lee and Damien with Danajaya.
Well, if Danajaya goes on to the heights that Poetic King did, Dan, then he's going to turn out to be a pretty handy racehorse, Lee.
Yeah, I don't know. He's pretty good, Poetic King, but no, we've always had a good opinion of this horse, and he was a bit disappointed at Valley first up, and then he ran pretty good in the Ascot Vale here in the wrong part of the track, and then we tried to make him run 1400, and he's clearly just a 1,200 metre horse. So we picked this race out and put him up the farm for a few weeks and freshened him up.
Was the inside always the plan today? You planned it with Rocky the other day and it missed by a pimple.
He had two sets of instructions. One was if he could get anyone to go with him to go on the inside and just sit off, and the other one was to fire him out and try and sit outside the leader on the outside rail. But I'm glad they went to the inside because it meant the horse had an easier run.
As it turned out, that's probably what beat Johnny's horse too, Johnny Hawkes' horse, because it was basically alone over the last 200 or 300 metres, not taking anything away from your bloke.
No, not at all. He just went too quick for the others, you know.
Yeah. And it was tight. Gee, did you think that he'd won looking at the television? Because I know you watch the races on the television.
Yeah, enough to swear by. I don't swear a lot either.
I don't know about that, actually. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Lee Friedman. Here's John Letts out on the track with the winning jockey, Damien Oliver.
Damien, you sat off him just behind him all the way and then, you know, went to him pretty quickly and put it beyond doubt. But I thought you was going to win pretty easy, Damien, but that horse on the outside, Walnut, made it close.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, John. I thought I might have won. Come on. And I looked across as I crossed the line. And you're still never sure, so it was good to see you come up to me at the end.
Yeah, well, they always like to see me go to Damien. As you know, I get the result straight away. This horse looks like he's still a colt. He looks like he's got a little bit of an attitude problem,
Yeah,
mate.
he's been a bit of a lad. Murray Stacey, who rides the horse, has done a great job with this horse. He puts a lot of time into him, and a lot of the credit should go to him.
Yeah, well, it was a good win too, Dame, because he put his head down and really got to the line, though, didn't he?
He did.
He really tried hard when you're breaking clear.
He's shown a lot of ability, John, and I think Lee was going to try him as a stayer, but I think Spreading's his go.
Yeah, you know what? You split your last 3 furlongs in.
I don't care, mate.
33 seconds. Good luck, Dame.
Yeah, 33 seconds. That is hiking over the last 600. And the numbers there are 3, 2 and 10. Damien Oliver bringing this winner back to scale. The crowd starting to find their voice. And obviously, a few have supported Danajaya as he comes down this famous Flemington straight between the crowd and the racetrack. It's upset a few horses over the years, but it is just such a feeling for a jockey to come back there in any race on Melbourne Cup Day. Damien hoping that he'll be doing it probably in round about an hour and a half's time. Danajaya, Damien Oliver first for Lee Friedman, Walnut, Darren Gauci for John Hawkes second, Sir Tallack, Grant Cooksley for Richard Freyer third. The numbers 3, 2 and 10. Look at that massive crowd. It's building up, and so is the excitement. You can feel it here at Flemington. The Foster's Melbourne Cup is drawing ever closer. And as Damien comes back to scale, we'll take a break and be back with the correct weight signal and the dividends after the running of the Schweppes 1000. Jockeys up on the scales after completing the first part of their duties, and that is riding the horses down the straight 1,000 metre course. And then those that have run in the first 6 will step on the scales and hopefully make the correct weight. And Des Gleeson will tell us that. Correct weight is there, so weight right. And that winner scoring only by a half head with 2 1/4 lengths between second and third. The time there, 57.4. So well done to Dan Malicki, who favoured Danajaya in the photo there. And it was very, very tight. Daniel?
Oh, it stirs the blood, Pete. It's got me in the right frame of mind now, let me tell you that. 3, 2 and 10, very exciting stuff. And the second horse was backed off the map late. Incredible go on it. For the winner, Danajaya, to return $6.90 and $2.20, $1.50 for Walnut, $4.70 for Sir Tallack, Quinella $10. Now the trifecta's still not available, and the running double $19. So people have to relay that trifecta dividend when it does become available. It's not there as we speak.
We'll keep an eye out for that one, Dan. As soon as the trifecta is notified, we'll let you know of it. And there is the sight from up above. Isn't that just magnificent? The crowd flocking in here to Flemington. All of the car parks really bursting at the seams today. And there's no parking problems up there. The Whitman's Lightship bringing you these magnificent pictures of Flemington on Melbourne Cup Day. Let's return down to the ground now in the mounting yard. Rob Gaylard for the presentation after race 6.
Race 6, and of course it's being the Schweppes 1000. Mr. Keith Southwick, who is representing the VRC out here before presentations take place, but Mr. Andrew Cosler, who is the Managing Director of Schweppes, to make the presentation.
Thank you, Bob. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Schweppes' involvement in racing goes back well over 100 years, but I doubt that we've ever been presented with a better spectacle than we have here today at Flemington. And I'd like to congratulate the VRC and the hard-working Flemington staff on presenting the course in such a magnificent condition. And on behalf of everybody in Schweppes Cotties, I'd like to thank them and the people of Melbourne for making this such a special event, and one that makes it such a worthwhile event for us to be involved in. We've been involved in the Spring Racing Carnival for many years now, but this year, for the first time, we ran the race over the 1,000-metre distance, and what a race it was. I'd like to congratulate all the connections of the winner, Dhananjaya. Lee Friedman, Damien Oliver ran a superb race, and I'd now like to call on the owner who will represent the syndicate, Mr. Danny Power, to collect the trophy. Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew Coslett with the presentation there after the Schweppes 1000. Moving ahead to race 7, we have a little bit of riding information to impart here, Jen. Number 7, Kirkbird, the rider is Darren Gouchy. Number 11, Hit and Giggle, is P. Mertens replacing Damien Oliver. Number 14, Fleischer, is C. Williams, Craig Williams, and 17, Court Dancer, is Lenny Beasley. As we have a look at the tote figures, what did you make of it?
Well, I like number 11 here, Hit and Giggle. This horse's saddle slipped when she jumped out at Caulfield last start, and she got a mile out of the ground. Jockey couldn't do much on her, but she flew home, and I thought that was an excellent performance. I think she can go well here. Number 2, Pinpante, I've put in for 2nd, and number 8, Maribel for 3rd.
Yes, Pinpante for me, number 2, round about the $4.60 mark, so it's Hit and Giggle for Jen, Pinpante for me, Maribel for Richard Friedman, and Razorblade for John Lett. So there we are again, 4 different tips in yet another wide open betting affair. It's race 7, it's the Great Western. The scratchings are Snapshots, Espina and Informer, and so we have a field of 14 to start in race 7, the Great Western. Sandra, that is the traditional lead up to the Foster's Melbourne Cup.
Thank you, Peter. I was just having a bit of a chat to 2 Cup debutantes who've joined me in the marquee, Martin Henderson and Robin Cruz from Big Sky. Welcome to Melbourne Cup, and how are you enjoying it so far?
Thank you. Very good.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Very nice.
Yeah, new experience.
Okay, now tonight is the all-important moment, the 2-hour season finale. Can you give the game away at all? Give us a bit of a hint.
Well, a lot happens because obviously it's 2 episodes drawn into one 2-hour special. So there's a loss. We lose one of a very special member today. How I won't say, but yeah, and a lot of action and
drama. Now we just come off a little bit of a break, but you've started filming again for the next season.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, then we'll be back next year for that. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, what are your impressions so far of the Big Cup Day, being your first one?
Good. I think I need a hat though. Everyone's wearing a hat except me. But...
Yeah, I've had to pin mine. I'm not quite sure it's going to come off or something. So it's been wonderful.
Okay, we are running out of time. I just have to have a cup tip though.
Oh, Ebony Grove. I think I'm going to go with the Kiwi horse, being a New Zealander, so I'm going to back that.
You must be loyal. What about you, Rob?
Martin Power. Yeah, because my dad said so. So I'm going to do that one.
That's as good a reason as any. We wish you well with the season finale tonight, and of course the next season next year. Thanks for joining us today. Good luck with your cup tips.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we'll cross now to Tim Webster back in the Encore studio, and Tim will be looking after us for the afternoon.
Sandra, have yourself a well-earned rest. I tell you what, we come in here because you literally, and I mean quite literally, can't move out there. I'll be interested to see the crowd figure. It's the usual sea of humanity on Melbourne Cup Day. There they are, and people absolutely everywhere. There's our countdown, almost right on an hour 20 to the Melbourne Cup of 1997. Tremendous amount of interest in the race this year. Might and Power sort of secretively being hidden away for the last little while. And the usual array of loonies that come out on Melbourne Cup Day. Plenty of them. Well, time again for another look at our 20 years of coverage of the Melbourne Cup here on 10. Look at this story very closely. You'll see and hear some familiar faces.
Back in 1978, when R1 hit the line to win the Melbourne Cup, it's a fair bet the 3 most excited men at Flemington were trainer George Hanlon, jockey Harry White, and race caller Clem Dimsey. Clem had the honour of calling the first Cup to be televised live, a task he repeated with distinction 6 more times.
It was a great privilege and honour to call the first live Cup on the O10 network. It was, as I said, a huge thrill. I mean, it's the ambition of every race caller, I think, to call a Melbourne Cup, and to do that one in particular was a great honour. I can't recall a lot about the actual race, it's just a blur now. But I remember R1 ridden by Harry White defeating Dan DeLeaf. I can recall that. That still stays in my mind.
There's only ever been 3 10 callers.
Bruce McAvaney took over in 1985.
I think the Melbourne Cup's right up there with any grand final we ever do, and also the Olympic Games. As a young boy, it was my ambition to call the Melbourne Cup, and I've always considered it to be a great honour in Australian sport. I still think it's the biggest day in Australian sport, and to call the Melbourne Cup, I think, is one of the most challenging things that any commentator can take on, and also I think it's one of the most rewarding. I rate it right up there. I think it's as good as you'll ever get in this country.
Since 1990, Dan Malecki has had racing's most important media job. Over the years, 10 has had an array of hosts and interviewers, some who became institutions, like the inaugural host and the man who brought racing to 10, Philip Gibbs. Some looked at fashion, some looked at horses, some looked at the bookies, and some were more successful than others in the difficult task of finding a winner. All had one thing in common: a commitment to the greatest four-day racing carnival in the world.
Yes, they're all right, Bruce in particular. Nothing gets the adrenaline pumping like the Melbourne Cup. And this is the one of 1997, still on the 10 network for the 20th year. Well, you know, the big names of training are, of course, Friedman and Cummings and Hayes and Waterhouse. Cliff Brown isn't quite one of them yet, but many feel it's only a matter of time before he really is.
It's only 90 kilometres from the centre of Melbourne, but Narberthong could very well be a world away. And if that's an environment that's pleasing for we humans, the same can surely be said for thoroughbreds. This beautiful property, though, is not the domain of one of Australian racing's marquee names. Rather, a young man beginning to forge a reputation for himself in the cutthroat world of training. Cliff Brown is just 28 years of age, and there was never much doubt about which career path he'd take.
Oh, look, I wasn't too bright at school, so I had to do something. I was gone otherwise, so that's about it. No, I always loved horses and seemed like a logical sort of career move.
His methods are very much along the lines of the English way of training.
So it's sort of different types of horses. I think where the babies are concerned, it probably takes a little bit longer to educate them. But once you have, I mean, once a horse is educated, there's no need to follow a rail every day. And here they do something different most days.
Even at his comparatively tender age in the racing game, Cliff has been lucky enough to have a top-line galloper in each of the past 3 seasons. And this magnificent 4-year-old stallion, Tarnpur Lane, is the latest star of his team. The country life obviously agrees with him.
Yeah, he's super. I mean, I suppose the difference is he can come out here during the day and relax, and everything's pretty casual around him, and it just makes for the horse to be a bit like that himself.
His horses might be capable of mixing it with the very best of company, but the trainer himself is still in awe of the likes of Bart Cummings, Lee Friedman and Peter Hayes.
No, look, I'm flat out saying boo to him. I just get too nervous. You know, I look at them and you sort of think, oh, yeah, they're great trainers, those blokes, and you sort of never ever, you know, you're just too frightened to talk to them, I am.
One thing he does have in common with his peers, though, is the race he'd like to win above all others. No prizes for guessing. It's run on the first Tuesday in November.
It's a race worldwide that everyone knows, and there's only one a year, and I think it just takes such a special horse to win it, but not only that, there's such a big preparation goes into it.
But for now, until that cup win comes along, Cliff will be quite happy where he is. And who could blame him?
Oh, look, I'll be here forever, until they bury me. And, you know, I might get some stables in town as well one day, but I'll always stay on the farm. That's me.
Yes, that's where you get to love the horses, in amongst the rugs and the hoof oil and the brushes. They're marvellous creatures, and trainers just love them. Well, now, we'll take a short break. As we do, I describe them as loonies, those who come to the